far away.
Good morning. Rise in freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network. It's Friday, baby. Yeah, we made it. Looks like we made it. Friday's a special day. You know what that means? Well, it means that there is nobody over there. What? Where's Stephanie? Where's Freedom Family Friday? It's not Freedom Family Friday without a family on Freedom Family Friday.
No, God! No, God!
What could be happening? Well, Stephanie is here. She's in the house, and she will be joining us live and in studio as soon as the baby goes to sleep. Okay, you know, it is what it is. Parenthood. Thankfully, I've got a million billion clips to play. We're going to have a lot of fun talking about Kamala Harris appearing on CNN last night. Finally, the question is answered. Why is Kamala Harris not speaking to the media? Well, guess what? We now know the answer. That too. We'll talk about that. We'll play some clips and we'll have a little fun. Nicole Shanahan continues to impress me. Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s vice presidential pick. Now she's just running. She made this commercial about Trump derangement syndrome that I think is damn good. We're going to play it. We'll talk about it. We'll have a good laugh. Freedom Family Friday, we always tend to have more laughs than usual. But there are some serious subjects. Donald Trump comes out and says he wants to fund in vitro fertilization. I kind of laugh at it. It's just, no. And like, it's funny because like, I'm not mad. Like, I'm mad about it, but for different reasons. And like, social conservatives are mad about it. They're mad about it because they don't want in vitro fertilization to happen and it should be banned, according to social conservatives, right? And Donald Trump is just like, no, we're not only we're going to do it, we're going to fund it. And I'm just kind of like, damn, bro.
How dare you?
He is just, he doesn't. Donald Trump don't care. Donald Trump don't give a shit. He will do what he wants. And I kind of respect it to a degree, because Republicans have wanted to tell off like extreme social conservatives for decades, and nobody has done it since Barry Goldwater. So Donald Trump is just kind of out there saying, I do what I want, and whether you disagree with me or not, I'm going to do what I think is right to get elected. And on some level, you know, we have a lot of noble Republicans who have lost elections, John McCain's and Mitt Romney's and others, and they're very noble people, right? But they nobly lost and led us to defeat and, 8 years of authoritarianism under Barack Obama, and now 4 years of Joe Biden. We don't need any more people running for the exits because they think that Trump isn't pro-life. Maybe here's the thing. Maybe he's lying about the abortion stuff. Maybe he's lying about the IVF stuff to get elected. You don't really think a politician would do that? Would just go out there and lie just to get elected? No. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but I'm saying it might be what it is what it is. Okay. So guess what? You're going to get the legit analysis here on the Wake Up America show, because Austin Peterson is just, not really a kiss ass. I offer praise where I think it's warranted, but we're going to talk about some of the things we agree with Trump on when it comes to this push and that we disagree with. But yeah, Trump is like the one president since Barry Goldwater who is like willing to tell the social conservative evangelical fundamentalists, which, I mean, I know social conservative evangelical fundamentalists, many of whom are my friends and people that I coalition with all the time. They get upset about that. But I think that there is like a larger underpinning of angst and anger that goes back to, of course, the Republican National Convention and even before, because Donald Trump did things like remove the anti-gay planks. He removed the abortion planks from the Republican Party's platform. I mean, geez. And so the social conservatives have been fuming for months and months and months and months. And so it's all culminated in the story where the head of, I think it's Live Action, some pro-life group, I'll look it up when I pull up the story here in just a minute. I'm just riffing right now. Hopefully we'll get Stephanie on the show. We will have Justin at 8 o'clock. And then we're going to have even more fun. I think it's Lila Rose, who is the head of this pro-life group, and she says she's not voting for Trump, and, of course, like cultists are like beating her up over it and stuff like that. And it's like, I look at it the same way I kind of do as Kyle Rittenhouse, where it's like, everybody gets to vote their conscience, right? You can vote for whoever you like, but she's being accused of being a grifter and taking millions of dollars raising for pro-life causes that instead of doing things like helping parents, they spend on very expensive galas, which, by the way, those very expensive galas are the way that they raise those millions of dollars. So, there's a lot of pros and cons having worked inside the belly of the beast since like I have, so I spent just enough time in Washington, D.C. and New York to get a feel for how things really work. And what's disappointing is how boring some of the explanations, the banality of evil. Have you ever heard that phrase? I think it originated when they were talking about the Nazis who would report on their neighbors, if they were Jews or if they were hiding Jews, right? It was just the banality of evil, how banal the evil was, right? And so often I found in Washington, D.C. that rather than a real shadowy, spy versus spy conspiracy, it was much more often a confederacy of dunces on one hand. And then on the other hand, the evil was banal. It was just like some boring detail is why a bill passed or didn't pass that did all this horrible, awful things, but it did this one little small good thing. And so everybody believed it and passed it because, like Thomas Massey is always warning, that the name of the bill is the Patriot Act doesn't mean it's patriotic. And it reminds me of why I posted this morning that I'm voting for Donald Trump, despite what he says about abortion and IVF and all these things. Because on one hand, listen not to what he says, but watch what he does. And then on the other hand, I want to have a chance of Thomas Massey being named the Secretary of Agriculture. I'm not stupid. I'm not falling for all the BS. Democrats are trying to make abortion the issue of this fall, and social conservatives are falling for it hook, line, and sinker. Now, in states like Missouri, we are going to have abortion on the ballot. We are going to have votes. And this is where Trump is kind of getting in trouble because in Florida, and I'm going to play the clip for you in just a moment, his comments about Florida's abortion bill. In Missouri, we may be ready to legalize abortion constitutionally. And that would be really difficult to overturn. At least here in the state of Missouri, our Constitution kind of sucks. It's not like the U.S. Constitution with a proper Bill of Rights written by geniuses. Listen, there are some very fine people on both sides that work here in the Jefferson City in the legislature, but there's also some very fine, let's just say that Tim Walz's son could probably beat them in a math or spelling contest. Some of them, okay? Not to denigrate Tim Walz's son or, just saying. For some of the people that hang around Jefferson City, it's kind of like, it's Missouri's swamp, right? Every state has one, right? You go to your state capital and you'll find, again, the banality of evil. And usually, again, it's a confederacy of dunces. Are you guys ready to see some clips, some billion clips? Would you like to see some bonus content? I'd love to hear and see from you. You can send me a text at 573-319-1586. Look, it's Liz is suffering from paranoid psychosis in the chat this morning, saying AP has Illuminati triangles on the screen. Is he a phony subliminal suggestion? I'm feeling more liberal. I don't know. Liz, wake and bake. It's not a good idea. Maybe since it's Friday, but I mean, stop doing drugs so early in the morning, for the love of God. Jennifer Halbine, the lovely, says, I'm a libertarian and still not sure how I'm voting. I understand. Liz says, then you are not a real libertarian. I don't know if she's speaking to me or not. Matt Unruh says, morning, everyone. Ultimate Dad shirt. AP, thank you. Yes. This is the Parent Trap show. Not ho. I'm the ho. This is the show. I noticed Southcott renewed over in the chat, his Rumble rant, his Rumble monthly sub. Thank you. If you guys haven't done that, if you've let it lapse, please do those. Today's the day. I know some of you getting paid today. Hook me up with a monthly sub over on the Rumble channel if you haven't already. You get entered into prize drawings, which we're going to do next week. You also get a 20% discount on the For Liberty shop and other benefits and prizes. Already at 7. Drink your Ovaltine. No. If you want to support the Wake Up America show, you can do so by becoming a monthly subscriber, either through Rumble or through another platform that you might be watching me on, shall not be named. But I highly recommend that you go to wakeupamericashow.com/support because then I have even more of your contact information. And I can remarket to you using SMS, text, and emails, and send you emails and talk to you about new products that are coming to 4 Liberty Shop.
I can first.
Austin, you evil genius. I'm just a capitalist. God bless it. More triangles. Yeah, they're just triangles, Liz. Okay, stop singing the sign of the beast and everything. Okay, again, stop doing drugs early in the morning. Okay.
How dare you?
Okay. What are we talking about here on this show this morning? Nicole Shanahan did a great ad. I'm just real proud of the progress that I've seen from Nicole Shanahan. Nicole Shanahan produced an advertisement warning about TDS. Take a listen.
Are you or your loved ones suffering from illnesses such as TDS, also known as Trump derangement syndrome? Do you dismiss or deny the current issues facing our country, such as historic inflation, illegal immigration, corporate corruption, World War III escalations, and the chronic disease epidemic? Are you willing to elect someone who was the least popular vice president in modern history,
supports forever wars, and abandons democracy by anointing its candidates?
Independence may not be for everyone. If you enjoy being lied to about your president's cognitive abilities, support Orwellian totalitarianism, or...
Yeah, and like just pause here for just a second. Beautiful ad, Nick, so far, Nicole. The people of the United States deserve to know if their president's cognitive abilities prevent him from being able to accomplish his job in office. I even kind of, think that the way that it was handled towards the end with Ronald Reagan in his second term as he was going out of office, they were hiding his mental breakdowns as well, which I think is just deeply problematic, right? We vote for these people. These people are in charge. We give them a lot of power, and they, listen, would you go down to the loony bin and find somebody and put them in the office as president of the United States, right? Or let's not be too coarse, Austin, and say, would you go down to the assisted living center and get someone who is in, a ward where, they have these kinds of problems and put them in charge of international diplomacy and foreign policy, and executing Article 2 and all that kind of stuff? Would you put them in charge of that? Would you do that willingly, right? Would you think that if somebody did something like that, wouldn't you think we have a right to know? I mean, come on.
Or are excited about communist fiscal policy. Independence may not be right for you. Common side effects of independence may include an awakening of rational thought, successfully identifying propaganda, freedom of choice, loss of hatred, anti-narcissistic behavior, and love of democracy.
Pause. We got a question from Grizz Cheese in the chat. Says, speaking of supporting shows, can you open subs for Daniela's show ahead of its premiere? Donations came up during your segment yesterday. I think so. I'm pretty sure that you should be able to subscribe to Daniela's Rumble account. It's rumble.com/Culturama. So if you want to support her show and help us get us started, that'd be amazing, Grizz Cheese, because we have to buy a lot of equipment, and boy, the cash is really pouring out the door with the baby and the and all the new cameras and lights and stuff for the new shows. So huge help if you do that. Thank you. Good morning, and Jam. Grateful to have you guys all joining us here live. We're playing Nicole Shanahan's commercial where she's talking about Trump derangement syndrome. Let's finish it up.
I used to blindly hate whoever my party was running against. I didn't care about facts or policy because I was hopelessly indoctrinated. With independence, I'm much more interested in policies that uphold democracy, and I truly care about the health of our country and its citizens.
Ask your doctor if independence is right for you, and enjoy your freedoms once again.
Ask your doctor if independence is right for you. That was Robert F. Kennedy's VP pick, Nicole Shanahan, releasing a Trump derangement syndrome ad. Good morning. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. I'm Austin Peterson. Typically on Fridays, we have what we call Freedom Family Fridays, and it's been about 18, 19 minutes. You may be asking yourself, Austin, where's the family part of the Freedom Family Friday? Well, guess what? Here it is. Steffi P. Oh, hello.
Hello. I needed to use my boob to help the baby, and so I couldn't be on camera while doing that. Although we could make a lot of money.
Steffi's boobs are...
If I could breastfeed on camera.
Yes. Steffi's boobs are magical. They contain...
Thank you.
Milk.
Yes. I just said to you the other day, I would actually be very valuable on a desert island.
That's true.
Because
yes.
I could feed people.
Mother's milk. Mama.
But I couldn't. I was going to say I couldn't keep myself alive because how would I suck my own? But
I would appreciate if you stop grabbing your boob on the show, please. Thank you very much, Stephanie.
So yes, Hazel is contained. She's sleeping now. Like all she needs is just like a little boob, and then she's fine.
Only Steffi, somebody says, an only Steffi account. Wouldn't that be good?
Only Steffi.
Only Steffi.
That's right. Yeah.
She's got a hot. She's a MILF for sure.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome to the show, Steffi. Let's stop talking about sex. Let's talk about Frida.
Babies.
Let's talk about babies, the parent trap. I haven't gotten to the big topics yet because I wanted to wait for you to join.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
I was so excited about these topics. I'm like, Hazel, come on. You can do it.
You finally got her to sleep, though. We're ready to rock.
I mean, it's only a matter of time. You know, I know that she sleeps, but she just needs food. She's hungry.
Yes, here she is. Well, here's the thing. The Surgeon General seems to understand our plight because there's an article that I read at the New York Post. Surgeon General issues public health advisory to parents and calls for more government support. So the U.S. Surgeon General has issued a public health advisory about the impact of modern stresses on parents' mental health. I get it. But he's calling on government, businesses, and community organizations to increase resources to provide them more support. And I couldn't agree more. Yes, I agree.
When it helps us, we say yes.
Yeah, so it helps us, right? So,
yes, I mean, the child tax credit, we say yes. Tax credits are good. I think all libertarians want tax credits.
Hell yeah.
If taxes exist, then you want to pay less.
If we get to keep more of our money from the government and prevent it from going to the government, then we're for it. Yes.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Isn't that funny how we're like super principled until we benefit?
Well, here's the thing. It's not against our principles to take that money. However,
but what about our friends that don't have children who have to pay into the system to help people like us?
There's a lot of
different. Fair.
Well, there's a lot of different ways to look at that. There's a lot of different ways to respond to it. It is fair because I also support tax cuts that would affect them in another way that they could get a break and we don't, right? So if maybe they start a business or they do something and they could get a tax credit doing something else,
right?
I'm for them getting that. Right?
But how about payouts, like actual payouts?
That's different. Now that I do not.
So they could get free mental health support if they
redistribution, right?
Whatever.
That's redistribution, and so I'm not for that. And that's where I draw the line, right? But so the U.S. Surgeon General is calling on government, businesses, and community organizations to increase resources and to provide people like us more support. But here's the thing. Government, no. Businesses and community organizations, yes, right? Absolutely. We'd love to see businesses make it our make life easier for us. For example, if businesses voluntarily choose to make it easier for us to get strollers in, be easier for us to have access to places. You don't realize, because we're both two healthy youngish adults, then when we try and get into certain places of business, it's harder for us because there's, you have to lift up the baby in the cart and the stroller and it's very heavy.
So it's almost like the ADA, only like the American Parents Act or something, where like we get special parking spots.
No, it's not like that.
No,
it's not like that at all. Because the ADA is a government law. I'm asking for businesses to
just privately on their own to help.
Yeah. That's what I'm calling on. I'm calling on businesses to say we want to take our own resources and step up as an inspiration to our communities.
Sure,
and we want to make our communities child friendly.
Right. And I know there are some workplaces that are already putting this into their education for their employees, a work-life balance, so that they can really, help spread that in the workplaces. So sure, if private companies want to spread that around and be nicer to parents, because it says something about a Family Leave Act, which that's governmentally enforced. And it also said something about like paid time off. So there's a lot of progressive companies nowadays that give unlimited time off and you can just take it whenever you want. Like a lot of the techie companies, they say there's no set number of days you can take off. Just take off whenever you want. Just don't abuse it.
So a lot of women,
I like that.
So here's the thing. The push behind this, obviously they're trying to appease and it's an election year. So there's a lot of like bribes and gimmies that they're trying to push in order to get votes, right? But there's the big question about like paid family and medical leave for Americans, whether or not that will be a mandate. There are a lot of Republicans who support that, for example. I think Donald Trump and Ivana Trump both very much are behind that. And people like our Senator Josh Hawley and others very much support that, right? Mandating that businesses do it.
Right. Well, I mean, you and I, we work for ourselves. There was no maternity leave. There was no paternity leave. Right. It's like, you know, we continued working basically right after Hazel was born, you know, until her birth, and right at the moment of her birth, we were still basically working. Right.
And, you know, we had a conversation yesterday about like the medical bills and things like that. And it's kind of like we had a really good conversation yesterday about when it's okay to ask for a reduction in your bill. Yeah, because we saw this TikToker who was saying, here's how to reduce your medical bill spending. And so he said, ask for discounts for the hospital or doctor's office that you go to. First he said 80% of hospital bills have a mistake on them somewhere.
Yes. And I have found that. I did lose like over $900 when I got my doctor bill about a year ago because they overcharged me because they put in the wrong code into their system, and then it like made this huge amount of money. And I paid it. I was stupid. And then I had to fight and go up the chain of command and talk to the manager. And finally, I got my money back on like Easter last year.
But the thrust of our discussion yesterday is that you felt like it was almost wrong, or you were too afraid to ask for charity, or to say, just, would you consider reducing my bill? Right. You're like, oh, well, no, we make too much money and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, no, we don't. As a matter of fact, a big part of the conversation happening right now, I was reading the Wall Street Journal, is like everybody really asked the question, is $100,000 a year like considered to be like making it? Not really anymore.
And I thought so. I thought once you make six figures or even a little less, you're doing pretty darn good.
It used to be, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I thought in my mind. And as a social worker, I used to work in Detroit at a hospital. And so it's like I was helping literally homeless people and people making like less than $20,000 a year. So to me, that was my standard for who was deserving. But anybody who, you know, made like, I'd say probably $50,000 and more, I'm like, you probably don't really need all these services.
Listen to this. Dad Bod Baboon says, yes, look at your bill. I'm a nurse and used to work at a hospital. They have things they automatically provide for you when admitted, but the patient doesn't always receive those items like soap, etc. Right? So the thing is, the difference, and like I really imprinted this on you yesterday very, very passionately.
Yeah. And you were effective.
Good, because you have to be your advocate. You have to stand up for yourself, and also what you do affects our family now, right? So by not asking and acting like you're being so noble and, you know, whatever is harming me and your daughter, because you know, we need to be in a better financial position for her sake and her future.
Because you know, you always hear, well, others have it worse than you. And so I have this big heart where I want to give to others and not so much to myself, because I say, I can do it. I can handle it.
But here's the thing. I'm always willing to ask. If I didn't ask, like, for example, on this show, if I didn't ask for Rumble rants and monthly subs, there's no way I would be doing something else. We wouldn't be here right now. Right. 2 years, we're coming up on, like, next week is our anniversary. For like 2 years on the Wake Up America show. Pat. But I've had to ask, right, for the support.
You know what's funny? I used to phone bank for you when you were running for U.S. Senate, when I was not part of your family yet, right? And somehow it was easier for me to advocate for somebody who was outside of my family unit.
You're selfless.
Right. So it's like I had an easier time asking people to give you money than I had asking people to give me money, which is really bizarre.
Well, you know how I was talking to you about weaponized empathy? Right. So like, don't let your empathy be weaponized against you. Right. Advocate for your best interests. Like a lot of these white liberal females that we see that are like out there for Kamala Harris and stuff, their empathy is being weaponized against them. I played a Lauren Southern clip the other day where she was interviewing women on a feminist march. They were like, would you rather have women's rights or radical Islam? And they were mad at her, but I mean,
I wouldn't want radicalism.
Hell no. And one woman actually had the temerity to say that she did want that, right? That she wanted women's rights.
Oh, I thought somebody actually said they wanted
the rest
radical
of them
Islam.
the rest of them were sticking up for the you know, people who want to stone them if they get raped. If they're raped, then they should be stoned. But I mean, again, these people can't have an honest conversation. But again, these women are suicidal because their empathy is so weaponized against them that they can't even act in their own best interest.
It's called a bleeding heart. And I think a lot of people in helping industries have that. And so that's why they get so burnt out, because they help everybody else and then they're just left with nothing, essentially, because they never give to themselves. So I don't want that to happen. And so actually, to end this story about the hospital bills and getting discounts, I actually looked online after our conversation, because we have a big hospital bill coming for Hazel's birth. And I looked up, and our income is actually within the amount to get financial assistance. So you were right. Like, making $100,000, for example, is actually within the parameters of this financial program, which is crazy to me.
We got to pause for a minute because I have to do an ask. Good morning. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. I'm Austin Peterson. Thanks for tuning in. We're glad to have you here live. It's so much fun to hang out with all of our friends in the chat this morning, including Look It's Liz, Mighty Megatron, L-Dub78, Floby Tenderson, David Lee, Mongoose 87, and of course our staffer buddy who's hanging out, helping us out behind the scenes as well. Good morning, sir. Do us a favor, click that like button if you haven't done that already. We'd love to earn your follow on this channel as well. Today might be the first time you're watching the Wake Up America show, and you're asking yourself, is this a place that you'd like to hang out on the regs? Yeah, for sure. We'd love to have you hang out with us here in the chat on the show, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. It's a 2-hour live talk show. It's a lot of fun. And on Fridays, we call it Freedom Family Friday because I bring my smoking hot, redheaded libertarian wifey, Steffi, onto the set.
Hello.
We have a lot of fun.
These headphones are so noise canceling. It's like I can tell Hazel's making some noise, but I can't really tell what the noise is.
Justin will be joining us live at 8 a.m. Central Time. But I don't want to forget, because we've only raised, I think, like $50 towards the bonus content this morning.
$50 is pretty good.
No, I'm sorry. Did I say $50?
50.
I did not mean to say $50.
Oh.
I think $15. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
$15 towards the goal. So
I was like, wow, you guys are really selfless today.
We have a bonus content. It's a little mini documentary. Would you rather watch that when we go to commercials when Justin comes at 8 a.m. Central, or would you rather watch commercials? It's up to you. Would you like to see the bonus content? You can unlock it by either making donations while we're live, or the more fun thing to do, in my opinion, is to go to forlibertyshop.com and do a little browsing. Our new Halloween collection is up.
Oh, yeah. I made some designs for that. I made a taxes one in scary letters. Taxes are scary.
Yes.
And then I made a Make Halloween Great Again Trump pumpkin. You actually helped me with that one.
Yes.
You did the graphic. I did the words. And so we have those ones uploaded, and I plan to do even more. I have more ideas that
there's a 10% off coupon going on right now with the Halloween collection if you use the code PUMPKIN.
And it's not a spelling error.
No, no, it's not.
People probably are like, what? Why is pumpkin not working?
It's pumpkin.
Pumpkin.
Like when my grandma went to buy me an album when I was a kid that I wanted, she went to the record store and she goes, I want for my grandson Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh my goodness.
And
is that like a Missouri accent?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we say pumpkins.
Really?
Yeah, pumpkin. Like, hey, pumpkin.
Kind of like warsh.
Or you hear my dad. You hear my dad say that, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes, my dad says warsh. Yes.
Wow.
Says warsh because my grandpa said warsh. I mean, he would say warsh, and I think.
And they were all from Missouri, like born and raised.
But my grandpa hands, they were descendants of Danish. Right. And I'm not sure if other people in Missouri say that, but I think it is kind of like the Danes of Missouri who say warsh, like washing machine.
The only other time I've heard it is somebody in Maryland. I've always heard it on the East Coast more so, saying wash.
Right.
So I don't know if it's an East Coast thing.
Right. Yes. And by the way, we are still offering you a bonus baby.
Yes. After her nap. I don't know. Maybe she's awake now.
Yes. So for $60, you get the bonus content. For $100, you get a bonus baby.
Yes, but not bonus booby.
Not bonus booby.
No. That would be millions of dollars.
Bonus baby means that if we raise $100 by the end of the show, you get to see little baby Hazel, which would be nice.
Yay. She's wearing her cute little frills today.
Yeah, she's got a little poofy outfit that's really fun. So
she's starting to be trendy.
Yes. So if you guys want to check out the bonus baby by the end of the show, let's see if we can hit $100 by the end of the show and we'll have a bonus baby.
Yay, we can do it.
Donald Trump said this when it comes to abortion regarding a new law that is coming to the state of Florida. Take a listen.
You overturned Roe, and you want abortion to be a states' rights issue. In Florida, the state that you are a resident of, there's an abortion-related amendment on the ballot to overturn the 6-week ban in Florida. How are you going to vote on that?
Well, I think the 6-week is too short. It has to be more time, and I've told them that I want more weeks.
So you'll vote in favor of the amendment?
I am going to be voting that we need more than 6 weeks. Look, just so you understand.
Okay, well, there.
So he didn't directly answer her question. He did not say yes. He said, I'm voting for we need more weeks. So he's not saying yes or no.
So this is really about a law in Florida, and apparently it's like a 6-week abortion law. He's voting, I think, against it. I'm not sure of the law in Florida. I only know about the Missouri law at the moment, what we're doing. But it sounds like he's going to be voting against that would ban abortions after 6 weeks. He says he thinks we need more time.
And it's like, how much more time? I was just looking it up because honestly, with my memory, I don't even remember when Hazel's heart started beating. But I know at the 8-week appointment, her heart was beating because we heard it. Yes. That was my very first ultrasound. But I looked it up, and at 5 or 6 weeks, the heart starts beating. Although it's not fully formed, it is beating until you die, essentially.
So why do you think Trump is saying something like that? Do you think that he believes that? Or do you think...
I don't trust him. And you and I have talked about this. I don't know. Maybe he's a flip-flopper. He was a Democrat in his past life, wasn't he? In the past. Yes. So he might have been pro-choice like back in the day. And he also is okay with abortion being done for like incest, rape, medical reasons. So it sounds like he's very compromisey. Well, so he definitely is into that.
It sounds like he wants to get elected.
I know, but principles, man, like what? See, how can I feel confident voting for somebody that is turning away from the beliefs that I have?
It's a great question. And I think,
can't trust that he's going to be like, oh, just kidding, guys.
Well, you should never fully trust a politician. But I'll say this, that I ran against Trump in 2016 because of the things he said. And we didn't see what his record was. And I didn't know what his record was.
You believed him. I
took him at face value for the things that he said he was going to do that were very anti-libertarian.
Yeah.
And therefore I ran against him. And then in 2020, I voted for him because after 4 years of his presidency, I noticed he didn't do most of the things he was threatening to do that I thought were bad. And he actually did a damn good job on things that I didn't expect he was going to do a good job on. So it wasn't his rhetoric that mattered. It was what his record was that mattered. Think about what he did for pro-life causes. He appointed tons of pro-life judges, and he helped to get Roe versus Wade overturned. He handed social conservatives a bigger victory than they had for decades trying to fight against Roe versus Wade. So it's kind of like, I feel as if some people might be missing the forest for the trees when it comes to things like this. And you're like, oh, we shouldn't have politicians lying to us.
No.
And this is the big question. Okay, when we would listen to Ron Paul back in 2008 and 2000,
he was for states' rights too. So we shouldn't be like gasping at the whole states' rights issue. Ron Paul would
criticize one of the big questions. This is a big philosophical question, Stephanie, and we've talked about this a little bit before. It's a big philosophical question. Plato's noble lie, right? The idea, the question of whether or not. Now, neocons believe this. They are in favor of the noble lie. They accept this as part of their philosophy. Libertarians are always like, no, it's wrong. It's terrible. You have to always tell the crowd, the people, the truth all the time, 100% of the time, and always be up on the up and up. Well, first of all, you can't conduct diplomacy or spycraft like that at all.
Yeah.
George Washington was a spy, which means that he was a noted liar and the father of our country. He was a professional liar, right? And his job was to, spread lies. And how did we win the American Revolution? Lies. And you know what? There was a lot of civilian casualties in the American Revolution that people don't talk about because the American Revolutionary Patriots killed themselves, a lot of loyalists, civilians that were collateral damage at the time. So these are bigger questions when we're talking about something like a noble lie.
Yeah.
Because the question is, and listen, Austin isn't up here with the devil horns. I'm playing devil's advocate here in order to be consistent and to understand what we're dealing with here philosophically. I'm not saying I endorse lying. I'm saying that the noble lie is that people, this is the same reason we're not a democracy. You know why? Because the average voter is pretty damn dumb. And then the other half of them are even dumber than that.
So that means people are really going to believe him. They're going to be like, oh, great. Now he believes in this. I'm not voting for him.
No, actually, I think he thinks that most people in the United States are for abortion and that people like yourself and myself who are very pro-life are probably in the minority and that there's fewer of us than there are of them. And that's probably true whether you or I like it or not.
And maybe he's trying to get the libertarian vote, too, because he's starting to sound like Ron Paul with the whole states' rights thing. Because Ron Paul was always like, abortion should be left up to the states.
Right, yes.
Even though Ron Paul is against abortion.
John Knox over in the chat says, this is why I don't think I could be a politician, lawyer, journalist, or car salesman. I don't like lying.
Yeah, and that's probably why you haven't won an election, is because you're so honest.
I was too honest. Yeah, absolutely. I really look back with some of the things that I did actually tactically with regret, because honestly, some of the people, those idiots, like the Gary Johnson supporters of the convention who thought he was like the second coming of Jesus and stuff like that, like, you know, you revealed yourself to them. You don't have to do that, right? Like, here's the thing. We can't get our principles across the finish line if we can't win. We were talking about our values and principles in the truck this morning.
Yeah.
If Donald Trump says things like that and the price of that we have to pay is that Thomas Massey becomes the Secretary of Agriculture here in the United States, guess what? I'll pay that price.
Oh, for sure.
Life is about trade-offs.
Yeah, I know. But it's like, can we trade off on murdering?
No, I don't. Well, no.
We're literally murdering babies. We're settling for that.
It's a trolley problem.
Right.
It's a trolley problem. It's a classic trolley problem. And libertarians have problems dealing with this because we don't like to we like to dwell on absolutes instead of sort of shades and gray.
Because sure, it is better to say, okay, you can't kill a baby at, let's say 8 weeks. It's better to say that than it is to say, okay, let's kill a baby like after birth. So it's like, like you said, you got to compromise a little to make people a little happy, but make it not so bad.
Right.
Because, killing a baby after birth. Well, no. Is killing a baby after birth worse than killing a baby at 8 weeks?
Former Governor Ralph Northam actually made a weird comment like that about like having a conversation that the baby would be born, it would be made comfortable, and and then the conversation would be had with the doctor and the parents. Right. And it's like, here's the thing. Do I believe that the Democrats think that they should be allowed to kill their babies even up to and including after they are born? I think that the answer is absolutely yes. I think that there are many of them who do think that. And I actually think that, and this is going to be very controversial, but I've told you this before. I don't think I've ever said this publicly, but I think like a certain percentage of SIDS is just leftists killing their babies.
We've actually been watching a lot of YouTubers who talk about their babies dying of SIDS, because we're kind of worried about SIDS ourselves. We're like, how can we prevent this?
We're like terrified that our baby, falling asleep with our baby like on the bed with us, right? Because we see these parents who are like doing these like really tacky YouTube videos talking about the death of their children.
Right.
And it's usually the wife who's like some slutty influencer type who's got some guy that's like
the husband's very beta.
The husband's very like beta and like, it's just
right. But in the case we watched most recently, they just kept calling their midwife for help. They didn't call a doctor.
Yes.
When their baby was like opening their eyes.
Their baby's like having a stroke, like, green snot is flying out of their eye and blood's coming out of their anus. And they're like, so I called the doula again,
Right. And then the other person we watched, their baby was asleep in the bed with the family and they found the baby dead. So it's
most of the time the baby just falls off the side of the bed where it's against the wall and then gets smothered that way.
Yeah.
But I think that a certain percentage of leftist women or women who don't want their babies, just ghettos, whatever's, their baby is delivered and, it's the prom night dumpster baby, essentially.
Absolutely.
Because it happens. You see it. You see sometimes news stories where like teen moms will like take their babies and they'll find them in the toilet.
Oh, absolutely. I'm laughing, but it's funny.
Because I'm a prom night dumpster baby.
Just laughing at the absurdity of that idea that people actually do that.
Yes,
it's sad.
Yes. Frickety has a good phrase for it. Cry porn influencer crap. Exactly.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Oh, these people get millions of views.
Oh, yeah.
And people feel so bad for them. But then you're like, you're stupid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You killed your baby and you should probably go to jail for that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. Some of these parents are absolutely negligent.
Yeah.
What's kind of surprising, though, are the parents who actually do get in trouble, like manslaughter charges, because like they leave their baby in a car seat for too long.
Oh yeah, we're worried about that.
We're like terrified about that all
That's
the time
why I'm
now.
like, I need to go check on her.
Yeah, go check on baby so
Okay,
she
hold
doesn't
on.
die because she's in the car seat. So, yeah, because they can like go lean their head forward and asphyxiate, and some parent couple got in big trouble because their baby died that way, and that it was considered like manslaughter, negligence, some kind of charges that they got brought up on. So
she's okay.
But Sid, so I want to end this discussion because I want to play the clip of Trump talking about IVF before we get to Justin, and then we really just goof off on everything.
Has Trump ever actually said that he does not agree with abortion at 6 weeks? So he has said that before.
He has expressed many pro-life sentiments in the past. And he has done pro-life things as president.
Right.
So, and here's at the end of the day, I want to talk about it. It's an important issue. Some people, though, that's all they've got. Like some people are single issue voters, and I am just not a single issue voter. Okay.
Right.
Like I can handle the fact that Trump is like that because I want Thomas Massie as Treasury Secretary and all those kind of things. We are not extreme social conservatives, you and I. Okay. We're not. I say we're more social conservative than the average libertarian.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we're pro-life. We'll fight for pro-life causes. May not agree with Trump, but I've got bigger fish to fry.
But we know Kamala certainly is way worse than Trump on the issue of abortion.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you for saying what nobody has said.
She's all about hurting the children.
Absolutely. You want more babies to die, help Kamala Harris get elected.
And I'm sure also transitioning children.
Exactly.
I'm sure she would be
the kids.
for that as well.
Yeah, if you want to trans the kids, vote for Kamala Harris or Chase Oliver, the Libertarian Party candidate. Here's Donald Trump talking about in vitro fertilization.
We're doing this because we just think it's great, and we need great children, beautiful children in our country. We actually need them. And we are going to be, under the Trump administration, we are going to be paying for that treatment. So we are paying for that treatment.
All Americans who want it?
All Americans that get it, all Americans that need it. So we're going to be paying for that treatment, or we're going to be mandating that the insurance company pay.
Oh, boy.
And then what is he going to do with the eggs that are left over?
See, so this is why this and the abortion thing, like the social conservative, like the religious right, is mad at him, man.
I don't know who they're going to vote for now. They have nobody.
They're going to vote for Trump because they got no other choice because they know it's going to be worse than Kamala Harris. But you kind of have to give it to Trump for being that ballsy. I don't agree with it, right? I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed to IVF.
No. I think IVF is wonderful, but I don't know that it should be mandated to be covered.
No, and that's where you and I are going to be different from an average social conservative because a social conservative is like this is eugenics and this is destroying God's creature and that the life begins at the conception with the frozen egg and the sperm. But I mean, I'm kind of like, I don't know. Where does life begin? I think there's... Yeah, the truth is, I don't know the answer to that question, and neither do you, right? We're all guessing, making our best guess based on the evidence that we have.
And too, it's like, okay, so IVF would be mandated to be covered. It's like, childbirth and pregnancy on its own, like it costs a lot of money, even if you're doing it the natural way.
No, for sure. But, again, I think that comes back to our corrupt medical system and healthcare system and insurance industry. I just think that there's a lot more at stake here. But I think he's saying this, honestly, I'll tell you this. I think Trump is actually doing this to kind of stick a lit cigarette in the eyes of the people in the Republican Party who are pissing him off. Now, I'm going to use a name right now, and you shouldn't associate it with the politician so much as the people who are supporting him, but I think it's a lot of Ron DeSantis supporter conservative types who were pissed at him already because he beat Ron DeSantis in the primary.
Oh, yeah. They're still butthurt
They're still butthurt, and they're still being super annoying on Twitter and stuff about it.
Because Ron DeSantis does not like IVF.
I don't know. See, again, don't apply any of this to Ron DeSantis. I'm talking about supporters.
Yeah.
Because they're all like with the DeSantis accounts out there, like talking shit about him and stuff.
Right.
And like I said, I get it. If you are a social conservative, these are your like number one issue. I get it. Then you're going to be pissed about that. But at the end of the day, I think the reality is Trump is telling them you're not in charge.
Right.
You're not the boss. And it kind of like makes me happy because nobody has told the social conservatives to like eat my shorts since Barry Goldwater in the 1960s. And I know what they'll say is, oh, well, what happened to Barry Goldwater? He got crushed. Yeah, but he also gave us Ronald Reagan coming to theaters today.
Oh,
Reagan.
And we can't see it.
I know. We'll see it on streaming.
I almost want to say, like, you can go see it, go with somebody. I'll stay back with Hazel. I know it's really important to you.
Yes. So when it comes to like the Trump approach when it comes to IVF, I don't think he believes that. I think he's actually just being vindictive against some of these people who have been sort of like needling him, these social conservatives, because you know what? He's a high-flying playboy from New York City, and you know what? That's much closer to what I am than a hardcore social conservative, like, you know, Mennonite, puritanical, you know, only have sex once a year on your birthday if you're lucky. You know what I mean? That's not where I don't come from the school of church lady. Maybe it's Satan. You know, that's not how I feel about things. You know?
Well, just doing behavior analysis of him, I can hear it in his voice. I can hear the sarcasm in his voice.
Yes, I agree.
In this clip.
Yeah, he's like pushing it because I feel like he knows who's listening.
You can tell he's trying to zing.
He's needling.
Zing someone with that clip in particular.
I think it's because, like, you know, the SoCons who are like against IVF are like, he probably sees that they're giving him shit about it. And they're like, no, we want to ban this event. It's like abortion, blah, blah. And he's probably like, and he's probably annoyed with him. And he's going, not only are we going to have IVF, but we're going to have the government fund IVF. And I'm just like, damn, Trump. Because most Republican politicians are terrified of the fundamentalist, evangelical, right, Christian Republican vote. And they typically can, they typically can like throw their weight around, and politicians have to be like, yes, sir, we do what you say, right? But,
I mean, a lot of people get IVF, though. So
sure, absolutely.
He needs that IVF vote.
He's probably smart enough to realize that most people are pretty normal and not political extremists. That most people are probably like, yeah, IVF is good and would use it if they want to have a baby and they can't. Most people would.
Absolutely.
Most people would. They would. Okay. So those are political realities, and most people.
I mean, who knows? Maybe we have to do IVF one day. So it's maybe we should be for this.
What's amazing is that, like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. We see,
again, if it helps us, we're for it, right?
Well, we're breeders, right? We want to have babies, right? We're gonna bring forth.
We want the lowest medical bills possible.
Yeah, the fruit of my loins. Thankfully, my sperm is strong and your eggs are healthy, and we have children. Damn it. Our own children normally.
Yay.
10 minutes until Justin Peterson comes on the set.
Goodness.
We're so excited.
This has gone by too fast.
I know. We're having fun though, right?
Yes.
Somebody bought something at the shop for like $50.
Are you kidding?
Yep. So we got the bonus content unlocked.
Whoa. Oh, give me coffee or give me death.
Is that what they bought?
A t-shirt. Yeah.
Nice.
But they bought two things.
Well, they better, because $50 for a t-shirt sounds like
what else did
even
they
for
buy?
us sounds like a little bit too much. You know
Let's see here. They also bought, oh my gosh, a cozy, comical velveteen throw blanket. It's the duck one with guns.
Yes. Oh, awesome. I made that.
They bought the blanket.
Cool.
That is so funny.
Is it the Quackers and Packers?
Yeah.
Nobody has even seen that thing before. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Wow. Whoever you are, we know who you are. I just won't say their name.
Yes.
But you must have really been searching on the website.
Yes. Thank you for that. And that means that the bonus content is unlocked. However, we're now $40 away from bonus baby. So if you want to see the baby, we got to raise 40 more bucks.
She's still sleeping.
But if we raise $100 total by the end of the show, either through Rumble Rants or through purchases at the shop, then little baby Hazel comes out and you get to see her beautiful little redhead. You want to see it?
Yay! And she's wearing a cute outfit. Yeah.
So on the breeder thing, would I do IVF? Yes. Would I, take steps necessary to have our own biological children? Yes. Am I in favor of adoption? Absolutely.
So then maybe adoption needs to be mandated to be covered.
There you go. Mandatory free adoptions.
Yeah.
There you go.
If all this other stuff is covered, adoption needs to be covered.
The funny thing is that like the fee for adoption to some extent, some people argue this, it's not like the main reason, is like it acts as a barrier to entry for people who like shouldn't have babies. Right. If you can't afford a child. Right. Sure. Which is funny because there is the government using a market signal, a pricing signal to determine who's fit to own something. Right. So it's like, if a mining company wanted to buy a nuclear bomb, for example, and they could afford it and the insurance for it, then maybe the government should sell it to them or let them have it. Yeah. Right. But like you and I probably, maybe we don't need a nuclear, like, the Davy Crockett nuclear, gun or whatever. Yeah. Maybe not. Right. But if we could pay for it, then we can have it. But the thing is that when it comes to a baby, like, I'm not saying you're buying a baby, but in some ways it's kind of like, should you just give somebody a free baby? If somebody comes in and they want a free baby, what, you just give them the baby?
It's discriminatory of the impoverished people.
Good.
Because they can't adopt children then.
I think that's wise.
That's not right.
No, it's not.
I just
have your
think
own kids. There are plenty of poor people having kids.
To put a price
Not
on
everybody.
a child.
Not everybody
I don't
needs
know.
to have
That's
kids.
slavery to me. Like
No,
purchasing
that's not
somebody.
slavery, Stephanie. Boo, boo. This.
You know, like how do you say, oh, this person is valued at this much money? That's
Listen,
sad.
I don't. If you're some poor, broke, homeless, George Floyd, fentanyl doing, living in the van down by the river, and you want to come and adopt a baby, I'm going to turn up my nose at you and say no.
Right. I mean, if you can't afford to support a child, you should not have a child.
Damn straight.
So they need to do a background check to make sure that like you actually have the funds to pay for food.
Yeah, and then you have to pay court fees, associated things to clear at least some burden.
Yeah.
We did that with my sister Jody.
Yeah.
And it was I won't say it was egregious. Now it's basically almost damn egregious. But I'm for adoption. I'm for IVF, and I want to have my own biological children with you, naturally, normally, through proper sexual reproduction.
Right.
I want to ensure that my genetic line is continuing. I want my children to be my flesh and blood, which is, later if we end up adopting and this causes trauma because they hear later that I said this.
Oh, no.
It's fine. I love them just the same. And my sister is loved just the same as my brother. We are the biological children of our parents. My sister is adopted.
Yeah.
Right? We love her the same.
Right.
Okay. But my impulse and my instinct is to produce my own offspring and to ensure that that the children that you have are my biological offspring. And that is my genetic instinct. And I will pursue that genetic instinct to its absolute zenith.
And that's why paternity tests should be mandatory.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, Stephanie. Very funny. Yes.
Yes. A woman cannot turn that down.
Yeah. Justin Peterson's joining us live in 5. It's the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network. When we get back, more fun in the sun. We're going to have fun till our daddy takes our freedoms away. We'll be right back on the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network. You looking kind of cute today, Stephanie. Ow.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Democrats want the FEC to crack down on Elon Musk's Grok. On Monday, a group of Democratic lawmakers sent a letter to the Federal Election Commission, FEC, asking the agency to adopt regulations prohibiting the creation of deepfakes of election candidates. The letter, signed by 7 congressional Democrats, was sparked by recent controversies surrounding Grok, an AI chatbot released on X, the social media platform owned by Elon Musk. Unlike most other popular image-generating AI, Grok is relatively uncensored and will create images of public figures according to user instructions. For example, I was able to get Grok to generate images of Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris shaking hands with Adolf Hitler and North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. X users have capitalized on this feature mostly for comedic effect. For instance, a Grok-generated image of a heavily pregnant Harris paired with a beaming Donald Trump went viral earlier this month. However, concern rose when Trump shared several fake AI-generated pictures depicting Taylor Swift fans endorsing him for president. While these images were quickly identified as false, the lawmakers still called on the FEC to essentially censor Grok and other AI models. They wrote, "This election cycle we have seen candidates use artificial intelligence, AI, in campaign ads to depict themselves or another candidate engaged in an action that did not happen or saying something the depicted candidate did not say," adding that X had developed no policies that would allow the platform to restrict images of public figures that could be potentially misleading. The proliferation of deepfake AI technology has the potential to severely misinform voters, causing confusion and disseminating dangerous falsehoods. The letter continued. It is critical for our democracy that this be promptly addressed, noting the degree to which Grok 2 has already been used to distribute fake content regarding the 2024 presidential election. The letter was written in support of regulations proposed by a 2023 petition from Public Citizen, a consumer rights nonprofit. That petition suggested that the FEC clarify that it violates existing election law for candidates or their employees to use deepfakes to fraudulently misrepresent rivals. AI will almost certainly create the opportunity for political actors to deploy it to deceive voters in ways that extend well beyond any First Amendment protections for political expression, opinion, or satire. Public Citizen's petition reads, "A political actor may well be able to use AI technology to create a video that purports to show an opponent making an offensive statement or accepting a bribe. But is tech censorship really the solution to possibly deceptive images? There's little reason to think that deepfakes are nearly as big a problem as big tech skeptics have warned. After all, we've been pretty good at detecting deepfakes so far. Already increasing skepticism toward media may render AI deepfakes more akin to the annoyance of spam emails and prompt greater scrutiny of certain types of content more generally. Jennifer Huddleston, a senior fellow in technology policy at the Cato Institute, argued during 2023 testimony before the Senate Rules Committee. History shows a societal ability to adapt to new challenges in understanding the veracity of information put before us and to avoid overly broad rushes to regulate everything but the kitchen sink for fear of what could happen, she added. Huddleston's statement suggests that society may learn to navigate the new landscape of AI-generated content without excessive regulation. Given the current context, the debate over whether tech censorship is the right approach continues to evolve. As AI technology advances, so too will our methods of detecting and responding to its misuse. This ongoing dialogue between lawmakers, technology experts, and the public is crucial for shaping future policies. The FEC's decision on this matter will likely set a precedent for how AI-generated content is managed in the political domain. It highlights the broader issue of balancing technological innovation with the need to protect democratic processes and ensure the integrity of elections.
Good morning. Rise in freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network. It's Friday. God bless America. From now on,
it's going to be America first.
That's
okay?
right.
America first.
America first. Freedom Family Friday means I bring in my smoking hot redheaded libertarian of wifey, Steffi Peterson. What's up, Steffi?
Hello. America first and abortions after 6 weeks. There you go.
No.
He needs to add that to his little spiel there.
America first, abortions after 6 weeks, and free IVF, says Donald Trump, right? Kamala Harris says,
do not come.
I'm going to come.
Says Donald Trump. He's going to come at you with that free IVF. Well, we're breeders, but it's time to hear from someone who's not on that train. Justin Peterson joining us live this morning.
I'm a genetic dead end.
His genes aren't going anywhere. He's got to.
You could donate and have a baby.
It's true.
You could donate your stuff.
I mean, Justin, you've got a set of designer genes. Nobody else has ones just like yours.
I know. Tall, musical, funny.
Giant arm muscles.
Giant arm muscles. That's from Magnus's. The Petersons are not. The Petersons are not.
Can I ask you a really personal, very deeply intense question that was very uncomfortable for both you and Stephanie?
Oh, okay.
What?
Are you ready?
Okay, lay it on me like a bib at the dentist.
Okay, let's say that like Hazel was like my last shot. That like, you know, it was my Hiroshima of inseminations, and now no more. Or it's Nagasaki and it's over and I can't have any more kids. Justin, would you donate to have for us IVF and then Steffi could have the baby and it would be your baby?
Oh, that's twisted.
Yeah.
That's like some biblical stuff right there.
Onin.
It makes complete sense, though, honestly, because then at least the baby would still be part of the family genetically.
Damn, Stephanie's like talking about it now. What's up, Justin?
All the time for gay and lesbian couples because, you know, they do, you know, get donors, you know, to donate their sperm or whatever. Right. And then they have a baby. And I was like, you know, it would make so much sense if they just had the sibling of their spouse donate.
I think people have done that before.
Yeah.
I've heard about widowers who will do that. Sometimes like if someone if a husband dies.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
why not? Because it'd be a lot easier to explain to your kid, yeah, you know, this family member, your uncle, you know, donated rather than this stranger over here that you don't even know donated.
Right.
Gosh,
yes.
And then you can have conversations like in Chinatown. Did you ever see Chinatown with Faye Dunaway and Jack Nicholson?
I tried. I have seen it and I like it, but I haven't been able to show it to Stephanie yet because it's kind of long.
She's my sister. She's my daughter. She's my sister. She's my sister and my daughter. It's so good.
Be really, hard to conceptualize there.
Yes.
So good.
Right. So did you answer the question, Justin?
I mean, where else is it going to go? So I say, sure, why not?
Well, I know where, you know, where it would
Well,
go,
I mean, we
but
know
in
where
our
it's going to
situation,
go, but,
we know
you
where
know.
it's going. Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
So,
but it's a little bit like, throwing it on the ground.
At least it would have a purpose.
dude, that's one of the
right.
sins. Didn't they kill? Did he kill Onan did God kill Onan because he didn't sleep with his brother's wife?
Yeah,
He
everybody
wouldn't sleep with
thinks
his
it was
brother's wife?
about. Everybody thought it was about the
Justin, tell the
flogging of
story.
the bishop.
Yes,
What?
yeah. Everybody thinks it was about the flogging the bishop.
It
but
was
tell
not
us,
about flogging the bishop. It
this
was
is
that
a
he
Bible
did not
story.
fulfill his duties to his sister-in-law.
Yes,
That her husband had died, and it was he was by rights supposed to give her a child because that honor culture was so strong back then. So yeah, instead of doing it though, he rolled over and shot it on the floor, and then God struck him down.
Yes.
To worry about me getting with your brother.
No, I don't ever have to worry about that. Thankfully,
No.
it's good to know.
Chemistry there.
Do not pass go.
You're
Do
safe.
not collect $200.
Justin, aren't you what they call like a gold star or maybe like a double gold star?
So there's a platinum, which would be a C-section, but the gold star is like
Do you know what we're talking about, Stephanie?
Yeah, were you a C-section baby?
I was a C-section.
Oh, but he wasn't.
If Justin had been a C-section, he would be a platinum star.
Yeah, like
Right.
never
But
touched
Austin was
a
from
woman
his
ever.
mother's womb untimely ripped.
Yes.
Yeah.
Contumely.
Wow.
Untimely ripped. Yes.
Untimely ripped.
Sorry, Justin, that you had to experience that. I'm sure that was very traumatic for you.
Well, it was the last time.
Going through
I
a
said,
woman's
that was good
body.
Yeah, that was it. That was the last time that he
One
ever
and done.
Yes,
There you
exactly.
go.
So he's
That was
platinum because he's never touched a what. So
Punani.
Punani. Yes. Yeah. They rank themselves for that as a
Wow.
badge of honor.
I wonder if they put that in their dating profiles, like if that makes somebody
Is there like a Puritan culture?
appealing.
Is there
Not
a
for the-
Puritan culture?
Ooh, no.
Really?
It's non-Puritan. It's anything but Puritan. It's
Well, in
like,
the sense of like, are there some people who very cultishly are like, lips that have touched a woman's shall never touch mine?
no,
or something?
although there's
Right.
always been a sort of a skepticism around bisexuals. You know what I mean? Like there's always this thing of like, okay, why don't you just choose what you're having for dinner and just like, make a decision.
Right.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. Justin,
Yeah.
before you're sneezing,
Excuse me. Yep.
before we move on to all the silliness and the BuzzFeed articles real quick, do you have any particular take on Donald Trump saying, he thinks 6 weeks of abortion is too short and that we should fund in vitro fertilization? What do you think about it? Like he's like basically telling the social conservatives like Jerry Falwell types to like screw off.
I mean, I've said this before on your show, and I'll say it again. I really feel like this is a really nuanced discussion that no one seems to be able to have because there's so much emotion involved in this conversation. I always look back, I joke with you, but I've said, the platform of the Southern Baptist Convention in the 70s is probably what I feel is the most, before the abortion thing got out of hand. I mean, the Southern Baptist Convention, was like, basically saying, yeah, in cases of grape, and incest, that should be okay. But like, there's, I mean, doesn't Europe have a window? Doesn't Europe have like an 8-week window where they say after 8 weeks, no more?
I don't know, but I never try and take.
Yeah, I don't know the laws.
I never take a cue from what Europe is doing.
Well,
because,
no, but but they have a much more conservative policy. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't.
What do you think about the push to mandate IVF? Like, I kind of felt like that was like sticking the finger in their eye, the thumb in their eyes, the social conservatives,
Well,
on
yeah,
IVF.
because some people pay up to $40,000, $50,000 for these IVF procedures, and it's interesting because now it's kind of coming. This sort of debate is coming in with gay couples now. It's like, well, they shouldn't be able to do that, and I'm like, that was never an argument, 20, 30 years ago because there were gay couples that had kids. So that's, I don't know. Homophobia
a lot of it
always finds a way, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, the gay couples that had kids, typically they had it with a woman that they were confused about initially and then left
or
to
two
pursue.
women had a baby. It's like, so.
There was a story about that in Kansas that it was infamous because William Murata was his name, because I wrote about it extensively. He had donated to a lesbian couple, and then the lesbian couple gave the baby up for adoption. They decided that they couldn't work together and they gave the baby up for adoption. And get this, because the government looks at men like ATM cash machines.
Yeah.
The government came after him for child support. Wow. Even though he didn't donate like a child, he didn't give up a child for adoption. He literally only donated sperm to these two women, and the government came after him for child support instead of the women who had the two. And that's why people are like, I don't know about gay.
He must be on the birth certificate.
Well, there's also this thing of like
it was like it was in Kansas.
Babies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
there's a
whole
lot
thing
of
like,
weirdness around this stuff.
Yeah, it's weird. People are I don't like the idea of getting babies like accessories. You know what I mean? Like it's like a new purse or something.
Right.
Like I'm not a fan of that. You know, but I do have many gay friends who have children. You know,
Oh,
I've
yeah.
got several of my wonderful gay couple friends that my friend Brad and his husband have a baby, and my friend Joe and his husband, they have a baby. They have girls, little adopted girls.
And did they get a donor that was like a stranger or someone they knew?
I think they adopted, really. I mean, I think
okay.
in both those cases, they adopted the kids. So,
yeah.
you know, pursuit of happiness, right? I mean, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
And isn't family a really conservative ideal? I mean, the people who are talking about thruples and polycules and like,
people are just
polyamory.
so people really get like obsessed with the process. And so, you know, the question of when does life begin, you know, social conservatives have, you know, sort of stuck their claim and said life begins at conception. And I think scientifically they may have a point, and that might be the case. I don't know if that's the answer or if that's true or not. But I do, and maybe there's a better way to do IVF that doesn't involve the creation of multiple viable embryos that are then frozen and banished to eternity in the freezers, right? Until one day they're discarded.
It reminds me of Austin Powers.
Right. But I do think science is actually going to come up with some solutions for a lot of these problems. When it comes to abortion, for example, you know, maybe there will be a day when they'll say something like, okay, you can evacuate the newborn, but you cannot stick a pair of scissors in the back of its head and suck its brain out with a vacuum. We're going to put it in an artificial womb. So
that'd be an okay idea. I'd be okay with that.
You say that it's an okay idea, but it's been proposed for years and years and years before artificial wombs existed, and now they do. And many social conservatives are always like, no, never, never, right? Even though we're like saving babies. You have to understand that like the thing that separates libertarians from conservatives and liberals is not like this policy or that policy, but it's our level of disgust at people's behaviors and at like things like scientific procedures. So for a long time, for example, you were not allowed to do autopsies on cadavers because social conservatives prevented it from happening because their superstitions were that you are not allowed to operate on a dead body in such a way, even for scientific purposes.
Michelangelo, the great painter Michelangelo, had to secretly go and look at cadavers during the Renaissance because the Catholic Church absolutely forbade any kind of dissections or any kind of vivisections on cadavers. We had no knowledge about how the body even worked because of conservative, Catholic
impulses,
Catholic beefs.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And Ben Franklin it was discovered skeletons, corpses that were buried in his basement in his Philadelphia home that he almost never went to, by the way, in which it's believed that the person who buried those bodies there was a friend of his who was doing surgery on cadavers at a time when in the late 1700s it was still illegal. It wasn't until like the mid 1800s that it became legal in the United States to do the kind of scientific research on bodies.
That's wild.
Maybe that's a cover up for a serial killer.
Right. So you have to understand that like when it comes to things like IVF, you and Justin and I, since we have a more libertarian impulse when it comes to social things or science, for example, we don't immediately recoil. You didn't recoil when I told you about the artificial womb.
No, I think it's a cool idea.
But social conservatives' first impulse to that would be disgust.
Yeah, they'd be like, that's not
that's not natural, right?
Well, that's Jordan Peterson's idea or Jonathan Haidt's idea, excuse me. Jonathan Haidt's written a lot about this, and that liberals or liberal-minded people tend to be more open to experience than the conservative is. Conservatives look at like the Statue of David, like conservatives, and be like, oh, he's naked. Right. Whereas like the liberal-minded, open to experience person would go, oh my gosh, look how beautiful that statue is. Right.
Right.
There's an openness to experience.
Wasn't it the case we learned from, oh, by the way, rest in peace, Mr. Simon, our history teacher from Rapek High School.
Save our Simon.
Oh, no.
Save our Simon. Yes.
What happened?
Long story short, in like the 1980s, 90s, Teacher Simon, he was high school teacher, not professor. Some kid was mouthing off and acting a fool in the locker room, and Mr. Simon slammed him up against the lockers and gave him the riot act. They tried to get him fired, and our school, including me, loved him. He was an awesome teacher, great coach, history teacher, and did, I think, basketball coaching.
Basketball,
and
he was the guy that let you watch television.
No, that was Ed Gunter. Do you remember Mr. Gunter? And he had his stuffed dog, taxidermy dog inside
Are
of the
you
thing.
kidding me?
Yeah,
Great
we had
history teacher.
We had a special experience when it came to history. But the way I'm tying this all together is that I remember Mr. Simon's class, him telling us about when the Christians took over during, I think it was maybe Byzantine, Holy Roman Empire, like when the old Roman statues had giant, like in Pompeii, for example, giant penises. Right? Maybe I'm thinking about when the statues of Pompeii were unleashed and people saw the giant penises, right? Because
that was
gods.
very much in Pompeii, and the brothels and all of that was kind of, and the stuff that was painted on the walls. People were like, they actually broke them.
They were
apart.
destroying them. Yes, they were destroying them because they were disgusted with them. Right.
Right. They couldn't believe that a culture.
Don't the sculptures have small penises now?
Many of them do. Many of the old ones do.
The reason that they did is
there's
because
one behind you.
here's a topic. The reason that those sculptures are depicted with small penises is because the ancient mind believed that a small penis was sign of a good and well-developed mind, and that a large penis was connected to something that was a little bit more savage.
Ogreish, more, yes. And there's probably something impulsive about that, right? You know, when people could make that consideration. So people were very offended by the statues in Pompeii that displayed ogreish, displayed ogreish penises.
Well, and they had those like phalluses were everywhere, and they would put lamps in them, and they would, I mean, it was a whole fertility thing.
Oh, yeah. Was it Catherine the Great? There was some Russian oligarch, female oligarch, I think, who had like end tables with like genitals on them and things. It was, you can still see like her furniture, and it was all like sexualized imagery all over it. Weird
There's
stuff.
a story about her and a horse, but I think it's apocryphal.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Probably.
Not to mention Rasputin.
Yes. But anyways, all of this, let's wrap it all back up and around to like talking about again. My point in bringing this up is simply that when people talk about things like artificial wombs or IVF, a certain percentage of the population will find it disgusting inherently and unnatural, and they will oppose it, right? I saw a documentary with Dad when he came and visited a couple weeks ago about the Mennonites, and there's a group of Mennonites who were in, I think, Brazil.
Yes.
They were in Brazil, but they moved because Brazil wasn't remote. The rainforest of Brazil wasn't remote enough. They had to get away from people. They moved to Peru.
Yeah.
The jungle, the Amazon jungles of Peru. They had to get away from all of us with our modern technology and our fancy ways of doing
so
things.
Weird.
Although we did see a few Mennonites at Culver's yesterday, so they haven't all given up on.
Yes.
I love the Mennonites.
They go to Walmart and they go to Culver's.
They go to Culver's, yes.
Those are the Christian
I just always
stores.
laugh though about like any kind of religion where the woman has to wear particular attire and the man can just wear Western clothes. I'm always like, why?
Yeah,
that's my feminism showing.
There you go.
Yes.
Well, you know, it's either women's rights or radical Islam. Make a choice.
Pretty much.
And that I'm a feminist when it comes to radical Islam.
Well, isn't it interesting that in pretty much all religions, the woman is the one that always has to cover herself?
Yes.
In Judaism, the woman has to wear a wig to cover her hair.
You know,
in Islam, the woman.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's
wear a
right.
scarf.
I'm not saying it's right, but sometimes you all really earn it. So let's move on.
I like to be modest. I like to dress like a pilgrim.
You know, no man loves watching his wife dress like a whore for the attention of other men in public and seek the attention of other men. If they do, then they're a cuck or they're beta, and they don't want that, right? People are sharing social habits everyone seems to accept, but they find 100% annoying. And do you think you're adulting right, Stephanie? I'm going to find out how many of these 25 basic-ish adult life skills you actually have. Are you ready?
Yeah, I think
Ready to
I'm
play?
pretty good. I'm surviving pretty well.
Question: adult life skill, Justin, number 1. Can you read it? Can you read at least 3 books a year?
I read 3 books a month.
Damn.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm a voracious reader. I read all the time. I could read a book a week.
Stephanie?
Not as a parent and a housewife. No, I don't have enough time for that. But back before we were together, I was reading Human Action. That was like 600 pages within that year. So I used to read a lot of books, but now I don't prioritize it.
I think because the question, I get a little wiggle here. Can you read at least 3 books a year?
Yes, I can.
Answer, yes. Can I? Yes.
Yes.
Do I? Dubious.
No.
Maybe.
No.
Maybe.
I work on books, reading through them, but I don't finish them.
Here's the next one, and I'm really excited for this one. I'm going to let Steffi answer this one first, Justin. Can you follow a recipe, Stephanie, and cook an elaborate meal?
It depends how elaborate it is. I do like to follow recipes, but usually simple recipes.
But if you had let's say you had a 7-course meal and you had the recipes for everything, how to make everything, do you think you could do it?
Probably yes, unless it was some sort of intricate dough, making like a pinwheel, and when it gets all artsy and stuff, that gets
you're still kind of struggling with like your heat, right?
Yes.
Temperature.
Well, it doesn't say if it'll actually taste good. I could do
okay,
it.
well, they're very good.
I'm sure
Stephanie.
I could do it, but I can't guarantee it would come out right.
I too can cook an elaborate 7-course meal with no problem. Just it won't taste good. Justin, could you follow an elaborate recipe?
I can follow. No, I mean, like if it gets really super complicated, like my cookbooks are aspirational. I mean, I have Julia Child's cookbook, but it's sort of like someday. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things that I look at and I'm like, wouldn't it be nice? It's like it's totally aspirational for me to have these cookbooks because I'm just like Julia Child. I just feel like cool by having Julia Child's cookbook. But could I make no? Because I think it has to do with this is on fire and that needs salt and this has to be watered and 30 minutes. I mean, there's just so much like timing of everything that has to be done. It's like a marathon.
So I'm not like trying to brag here or anything like that, but like I think I could do it. I got pretty good with cooking. And I was really focused on it for like the last few years, like right before I met Stephanie. Just because I thought I was going to be alone forever. And so I was like, one thing is I need to start like learning how to really cook and eat healthier. I had to start eating healthier.
Yeah.
So I really started focusing on like heat and, I can make, a damn good steak and I can make a really good side. I know how to find, good breads to pair with meals and, how to cheat enough, to get certain things done. So I think I could do that. This is an adult skill. Stephanie, you've really come a long way, but when we first met, like
I could like
you'd struggle
make
with
eggs
you'd struggle with mac and cheese.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I knew the very basics, how to make a stir fry. I could do that.
Next one is on the same lines. I'll go first. Can you make a Thanksgiving dinner or something equivalent if you don't live in the States? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can roast a turkey and make stuffing's easy. Bake mashed potatoes, again, pretty simple. Mac and cheese. Now, deviled eggs would be a little harder, but it could be done. Justin, could you do a Thanksgiving dinner?
The whole thing, no. But I can make really good monkey bread.
Oh, okay, there you go.
I've never had
I like monkey
bread.
Yes,
actually, that's my Thanksgiving morning tradition. I started years ago. Thanksgiving morning, you get up, you watch the Macy's Day Parade while someone else is making the food,
right?
And you make monkey bread, okay, and then you have monkey bread and mimosas. It's like that's the best way. To
I saw somebody said the other day, but they're like, what are I don't understand breakfast. Oh, it's Tom Woods. I don't understand breakfast, people. You have like 5 things and then that's it. And I'm like, if done properly, breakfast on a Sunday, a proper brunch with alcohol, I promise you, it is not just the same 5 things. I mean, I used to have some crab hollandaise when I lived in DC because you could get crab meat instead of ham on top of those hollandaise and things, and like that stuff is delicious. So if you got a couple mimosas, and I know Justin, you're a Bloody Mary guy as well.
I do love a Bloody Mary.
Then breakfast can be one of champions, but you have to think like a champion.
Oh, I like eating breakfast for dinner. I'm one of those people.
Oh yeah.
Same.
I prefer breakfast.
Totally same.
But in terms of Thanksgiving, I have cooked an entire Thanksgiving meal pretty much. Your sister made some stuff. But I think the first year we were together or the second year, I definitely cooked pretty much the whole thing.
Next on this list of things that adult skills that we're asking, can you do these adult basic skills or not? Number 4, Justin, I feel like you could do this. I think you'd be very good at it. Why don't I just let you answer first? Can you put together and host a dinner party?
I mean, I can. I mean, I could do that.
I think that would. I think you'd be very good at that. I mean, say you directed a cook. You know, you had somebody who was
yes.
You know,
that I could do that. Yeah, for sure.
Steph.
So does that mean you make food for everybody and you host the party?
You don't have to make the food for everyone. Host a dinner party.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've hosted a lot of dinner parties for our birthdays and different celebrations with our friends.
That's a thing that actually has, that's gone away. I think people in the 50s and 60s used to do that a lot more than they do it today.
With like neighbors and stuff too.
Yeah, I think people had social dinner parties and things that were just all the time. Yeah, I think.
I think I would probably prefer to make like hamburgers and hot dogs and like pizza, more simple stuff. I don't know that I can make a very intricate meal for like 50 people. That would be very difficult.
One of the cookbooks I got was Mom's 1969 Better Homes and Gardens cookbook.
Oh.
And you would be amazed to read through the things that people made back in the 60s. Like the what is it called? Oh, I'm not gonna get it right. It's like that beef gelatin thing. It's called something or other. I can't remember the name of it.
Huh.
Like,
yeah, I'm not sure.
Awful.
Wow.
It was like beef gelatin. Remember beef jello, basically. That people.
Well, have you ever had like Korean like ox knee, or where it's like you have like ox, like they'll have like a joint, like the joint of an ox, and it'll be like in a soup, something like that, or you get like a beef. It's good. That'll be like ox. Oh, like they have ox jelly soup. I know you're making that face, but it's good.
That's
it's
my
actually
conservative disgust face.
Yeah, exactly. Conservative disgust. I like it. I like weird Asian foods typically, but
well, that's the thing you miss in Jeff City.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to get good.
Someone said it. It was aspic.
Aspic. Thank you. Thank you, Liz. Yep. Number 6 on this list. Can you remember all of your closest friends and family members' birthdays without things like Facebook reminders? Stephanie?
Closest family and friends? Yes. My sister, March 10th. My mom, April 20th. My dad, January 21st. You, February 19th. Hazel, July 23rd. One of my good friends from high school, November. Oh, God. Is it 21st? So most of like the major people in my life. And my other friend, December 31st. So yeah, I think so.
No. Justin, February 8th. Me, February 19th. Jody, February 1st. Dad, 1942.
You don't know Dad's birthday?
Wait, his birthday's coming up September 17th.
September 17th, 1942.
14th, I know the year.
September 14th. I'm sorry. So see, I don't.
Boo, Steffi. What? You said 17th? How dare you, Stephanie?
His birthday, I didn't remember.
1942. 3 years before the end of World War II. So I remember the years. Okay, so sometimes. Yeah. But friends, no. Dad texts me.
Grandpa Hans, March 17th. Uncle Bobby, March 17th. Grandma Hazel, March 23rd, I want to say.
There's a lot of March people.
I don't even know
Hazel, Grandma Rose, November 22nd.
I don't even know my wife's phone number.
I know. He messages me on Facebook.
278.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, something.
254-1160. That's Grandma Bill's phone number. 252-2929.
252-2929. Yes, I remember those because we had to dial them a million times growing up.
Yep.
331-5749.
That was Karen, Aunt Karen's phone number.
331-5749. The 331-5749 was our home number.
People are going to start calling these phone numbers.
Whoever it is going to be mad.
Good luck. Have fun.
Have fun. Grandma's in this Mount Moriah Cemetery. We're talking about life skills, basic life skills that you should have as an adult. Can you remember all your closest friends and family members' wedding anniversaries? Justin, would you remember what day our wedding was on?
October 23rd.
Damn, Justin.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 23 is a special number for us because Hazel was born on the 23rd. Our address has a 23 in it. So yeah.
Yep.
It's cool.
How about Mom and Dad's, Austin? What's Mom and Dad's anniversary?
Mom and Dad's anniversary is December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
Oh, no.
June 28th, 1969.
Victory over Japan Day. I think. I don't know.
No.
I'm just pulling it out of my ass at this point.
Everybody should know their parents' wedding anniversary.
Dad's mad. Dad's texting says, great job remembering all of those dates. I think he's mad at me now.
Uh-oh.
Actually, I think he's saying great job to Justin because Justin remembers all the dates. Dad has to send me text message reminders to like send happy birthday to all my friends and family and stuff.
He calls us when it's someone's birthday.
He tells us and lets us know, right? So we appreciate Dad. Dad remembers all the stuff.
He does. He'll send us a reminder.
But he uses Facebook as a crutch, though, for people.
He does.
When he sees the reminder,
today's your grandma something's birthday, and I'm like,
exactly.
Oh, yeah,
today's your 12 cousins, best friends, nephew.
I mean, I generally, my sister's anniversary, July 17th.
Yes.
So it's like, I guess, close people, but that's only like 2
We're talking about
anniversaries.
If you're tuning in the Wake Up America show now, it looks like Papa Peterson must be tuning in as well because I'm getting the text messages.
His ears were ringing.
Hi, Dad. Baby Hazel's here with us. If we hit the $100 bonus baby break threshold, we break through that threshold, then you'll get to see Baby Hazel by the end of the show.
Yeah.
We're at $65 of the $100 goal. So literally $35 will unlock that. I would just go to forlibertyshop.com and buy yourself like a t-shirt, maybe a pair of sneakers, maybe a couple of boxes of coffee, and that will unlock the bonus content. So head to forlibertyshop.com, unlock the bonus baby. We're talking about basic life skills that you need as an adult. And here's a good one, number 7 on this list. Can you use basic tools? Screwdrivers, hammers, nails, can hang pictures, use crescent wrenches, perhaps, things like that.
Yeah, I've installed a toilet seat and I've put up pictures on the wall.
Can you use simple everyday tools? I think that's kind of an easy one. There you go.
That's easy.
Most of us can.
So handy.
Number 8, can you explain the difference between black tie versus formal attire, Stephanie?
Black tie is tuxedo.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of for women, I see it more as like evening gowns, like more long and modest.
I wouldn't know what
have to be modest.
I wouldn't know what the difference between a woman's black tie versus formal, but I mean, I understand the concept for us men because a black tie is like a tuxedo. Formal attire is just like, maybe a fancy suit or something like that. But with women, I mean, couldn't you just wear a dress the same way you'd wear something in a black tie, or is there some rule for the women?
It might be a little too fancy if you wore like a black tie dress too. Just
what's a
like
black
a normal
tie dress?
Formal. I see it as more glitzy, glammy, like more jewels.
Yeah, Justin, do you know?
I mean, for women?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a cocktail dress. I don't know, like for a formal event, and then more a long floor length gown for a black tie event.
That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Justin, this next one's fun. I know the answer for me is yes. I wonder for you if it's a yes, actually. Can you use a paper map to get directions somewhere?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you a story.
That's
when
what this is for.
When I moved to New Jersey to live in Garfield, New Jersey, I walked to the grocery store and I think I bought 3 or 4 different maps of New Jersey and New York City and the 5 boroughs to just sort of know where everything was, because this was before TomTom and Garmin and all those GPS navigators. So I had to know where I was going. Now, let me tell you what I used to do. I used to print out the MapQuest directions, from my computer, and I got my little odometer, and I'd get the directions in my odometer, and it'd be like, drive 3.5 miles. And so I'd hit 0 on the odometer, and then I would drive 3, and then what was the next direction? In 0.5, and I was constantly hitting that odometer to know exactly where to turn.
That is old school, man.
Oh my God.
Odometer. Use the odometer.
See, I don't know if I would say I think MapQuest is cheating. Because a real true map, like when you're on a road trip and you whip out those.
Yeah. So
those
could you do the
maps.
paper map? If you somebody gave you a map of Ohio and said get somewhere, you could do it?
I could do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Yeah, I could do it.
No, I couldn't.
I need help. You need a navigator. I mean, if you
stop at the gas station and ask for directions.
Yeah, I remember being in my Camaro, with T-tops, driving to New York City from Springfield, and I had the MapQuest. And what you would do is you'd have a stack of papers because you'd have your first turn, right? You'd have almost like a book, and then you'd be like, all right, then get your first turn, and then you'd switch to the next page.
Yeah,
and that would be your next route. But the problem is sometimes the turns would be so fast, you'd have to go through 2 or 3 pages. So you'd be like,
yes. Yes.
Nighttime, you have to turn the light on.
Yes. Yeah, because you can't see at night. Yes.
At night it was terrible. It was terrible at night. But I used to have it where my favorites were the spiral bound books, like the big spiral bound map books, because those opened up so nice, you know, and you could kind of drive with them. But if you think about it, like I remember going to, remember Borders? Remember Borders?
Yeah.
And Barnes
Oh,
and
yeah.
Noble? We'd go there and there'd be whole sections of the store that were just literally maps. Like, I don't think you can go to a store anymore. That's one thing that's changed in the past 20 years. You can't go into a bookstore anymore and have like a map section. Like they used to have a map section in the store. You could go and buy maps. I don't think you can do that anymore.
Really? I didn't even...
We only have one bookstore locally, so we have to look and see if it's there.
So much. I love bookstores. I love bookstores.
I like to browse, but I don't buy anything, so I'm probably the customer they never want to have.
Well, you only read a book a year, Stephanie.
Right. Exactly. And I buy it from like the cheapest place possible. I buy it from like Amazon where I don't have to pay much.
That's true. That's true. Funny.
Okay, let's go to the next item on the list here that we have for the Wake Up America shows. Fun Freedom Family Friday. We're having a blast with my brother Justin Peterson that you can see on camera there. It's a beautiful mug. My wife Stephanie Peterson, she's gorgeous. She treats me like a king. And I will love her forever and even until eternity for giving me my beautiful daughter Hazel Rose, who is joining us on set but not on camera yet.
Yes.
Have you clicked the like button yet? Have you clicked the follow button if you're on Rumble and you're enjoying the content you're viewing today? We'd love to have you be a regular guest. The Wake Up America show is a 5-day-a-week talk show. Fridays are the weird days where I bring in my family. We goof off about this or that or whatever. But the other days are typical political news coverage, and we do have fun, but you're going to be a little bit more straightforward, informed news kind of reporting on the Monday through Thursday schedule. So come back on Monday and check us out as well. But if you love Freedom Family Friday, and this is your bag, baby, every Friday, Justin Peterson, live at 8, Stephanie at 7 a.m. if the baby allows, and we just have an absolute blast. So we hope you'll be our friend and be a fellow freedom fighter and join us here for the show regularly. We're talking about adult life skills right now on the Wake Up America show. And we're talking about whether or not we can actually do these things as adult. Number 10, Justin, could you safely start a campfire?
No.
Okay.
Not safely. Get the lighter fluid.
Yes.
No.
Are you talking about with sticks? Like doing the old school, like rubbing them together? I couldn't do that.
No. I was in Austin. Were you in Boy Scouts for a while?
Well, a very brief period as a kid, but
what happened to you in Boy Scouts?
No, nothing. I mean,
oh, okay.
No.
I just wasn't into
Nobody
it.
was weird.
I wasn't into hanging around with other young
It was the
adult
rubbing
males.
sticks that reminded me of Boy Scouts. It was the rubbing of sticks, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm disassociating.
Yes.
No, I feel like when we were in Boy Scouts, when they taught us, like, I remember Bunsen burners. That was a skill that we had to learn in school, was doing Bunsen burners.
Yeah.
But I don't remember that they taught us how to do like start a fire. Like I couldn't, if I was out in nature, like Tom Hanks in what is that movie? Overboard, Outcast.
Ooh. Oh, yes, we watched it. Where Tom Hanks is on a deserted island.
Yeah.
His plane crashes.
Well, so
I don't know that I could do it.
Castaway.
I don't know that I could do it.
Castaway. Yes.
Castaway. Yeah. I don't know. I would be like, okay, I guess you have a rock. You could do like you do it with rocks or something, or flint rocks will do it. I don't know.
Or with a magnifying glass in the sun.
Though you need a magnifying glass. My what I would do is I would try and make a bow. Right, try and find something that you can weave into string. Take some some plants that are vines and twist them up until it's like a long kind of like rope to an extent. Then you take a stick that's fresh and malleable, and you make it into a bow, just like you would have any other kind of bow. You take another stick and you wrap it around the twine for the bow, and then that stick goes down into like a log that you kind of chop out a little bit, some of the side of the log, and you put like little like tendrils of like kindling in there, and then you rub that bow back and forth so that wooden stick, which is pointed, right? If you can carve out that end of that stick, that pointed stick rubbing up against the wood like that back and forth very quickly will quickly begin to smolder and then create fire. So that would be how you would create fire. If you had nothing, you could create a bow and use a bow with wooden sticks. So you had those basic things and you could start a fire.
Well, I'd want to be stuck on a deserted island with you. That's for sure. I'll provide the breast milk and you start the fire.
Well, I get you. I could at least get you started because I die after a couple of weeks from the lack of access to the fake thyroid medication.
No.
You know.
Your Synthroid medication.
Maybe my breast milk would heal you.
Exactly. I'll suck on your boobies and I'll stay alive from the breast milk. Stay alive. Stay alive. Look, it's Liz reminds us they didn't say no Bics. Good point. Yes. Just bring a Bic lighter.
Sure.
Fair.
I have a fear of fire, though. I don't like to get very close.
Yes.
I
love
like
this
even
next
bonfires.
one.
I loved your wedding bonfire. I thought that was so fun.
Oh yeah, that was fun. It's a beautiful
Whoever
night.
started that bonfire is quite a
think Dad
talented
did that.
person.
That was
Dad.
Yes.
He made an awesome bonfire for our wedding. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh, it was
I
so
love that.
fun.
Yeah. Number 11 on this list of adulting skills. Can you speak words or phrases in another language? Steph.
Oui, je parle français.
Justin?
Oui, je peux parler français e anche parlo italiano. Non è difficile per me di parlare italiano. Ah!
Grazie. Molto bene.
You know Italian, too?
Oh, yeah. French and Italian.
Cesate di piangarme. Yeah, he knows a lot of Italian. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yes, Italian.
Or how about German?
Ja, das ist sehr gut. Ausgezeichnet. Ja, das ist wunderbar. Wunderschön.
Das ist mein Scheiße. Ah, ja, es ist mein
Es ist mein
Scheiße.
Scheiße.
Ah.
Alrighty then.
Alrighty then.
I mean, you know a lot of sentences in other languages.
Hi, Donald Trump wa itikeru. Hi, arigatou gozaimashita. Hi, Japanese, yes.
I know Ijo desu ka. That means, is that everything? When I worked as a server at Disney World.
And you would respond to that with Daijobu
the Japanese
desu.
would finish their order, and then I'd go, is that everything? And they'd look at me and go, ooh. So I had to learn how to say Ijo desu ka, which means, is that everything?
Ijo desu ka? And then they would say,
Daijobu desu.
Daijobu desu. Hi, Daijobu desu. It's all good.
Okay, it's
that means
good.
it's good.
Yeah, we would just say Daijobu desu to like every taxi driver,
Yeah.
regardless of what they were saying.
You only need to know two words in Japan. One is Daijobu desu. Everything's okay. It's cool. I'm fine. Right. It's good. Or sumimasen.
Yeah.
Which we learned recently that you're not really supposed to say sumimasen. You're supposed to say sumimasen.
Right.
Sumimasen.
I learned, what is it? Olete samui means I'm cold. Olete
In
samui.
Japanese?
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Really?
really?
Yes.
Olete samui?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm cold.
Moshi moshi. All right, let's move on to the next one. We can all speak words in different languages. Do you have any other?
Flexing our language.
Do you have
muscles.
any other languages that you can say things in, Stephanie?
I mean, French is what I learned
French is
since
what you
first
learned.
grade.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Mhm.
no, not. I mean, a little bit of Spanish.
Okay, Espanol.
See, I took it for 1 year.
Sí, ya vengo, papa. Can you play a musical instrument, Stephanie?
My voice.
No.
My voice is a musical instrument. I
I'm-
could play a little bit of guitar. I took that for a year when I was 17 or 18 years old. But I'm very rusty at this point. So I know a few chords.
Yeah. Justin, do you play any instruments?
Yes, I play the piano. I am learning the baritone guitar, or baritone ukulele, excuse me.
Wow.
And I'm also trying to learn to play the auto harp because I want to be a mountaineer and live in the mountains and play on my auto harp.
Really?
Yes.
You want to live in the mountains one day?
No, I just
Oh.
love the auto harp. I just ring, ding, 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 and you push all the buttons, and I don't know. I love it.
Speaking
I
of
love it.
playing instruments, did you see the other day? Like, no joke. Kamala Harris was giving a speech to a band in a high school,
band.
and she was saying that she was actually in band. She was in the band, so she was talking about team building. Do you know what instrument she played?
Oh, this is going to be a dirty joke,
Don't,
isn't
Austin,
it?
Don't.
The skin flute.
I knew you were going to make a dirty joke.
Don't do it.
Why you gotta step on my jokes, yo? Come on.
Yes.
Let me tell the dirty jokes. But it is true that she said
Here's
she
a
was
question.
in band.
Dad
But-
was in band. Can you tell me what instrument Dad played in band?
Oh, clarinet.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I remember Dad played the clarinet.
To play the trumpet, and that's why Mario plays the trumpet.
Maybe
Something
I think
about
so. Actually, yeah, you wanted to play the trumpet.
I think
Justin,
so.
I distinctly remember you had a saxophone at one
I
time.
did. I played the alto saxophone in 4th grade. We were in band. And I'll never forget the morning. I'll never forget the morning that Mom, I didn't want to bring it to school for some reason. You know, 4th graders.
Yeah.
And my mother goes, Justin, you get back here and you get this saxophone. And so I went back in the house. I took the saxophone and I was, I had a little temper. And I threw that saxophone across the yard.
Oh my
Because I
gosh.
was- Mom ran out of that house like her hair was on fire. And I
Did you break it?
She beat me all the way into next year, man. She just laid into me.
Did she beat you with the saxophone?
No, she just beat
okay.
me with her barrel. She just came out, because that was a rental. I was like, and she was paying for it. And I'm sure she was like, "You little shit." She probably was so pissed off at me.
Oh my God! Now this one, I think we'll probably all pass with flying colors. Although if we weren't like political people, answering this question would be much more difficult for us than probably Justin because he's in a major city. But Stephanie, can you name your town or city's mayor?
Oh, we know him. Gosh, his son is Tyler, right?
No,
that's his name. God, I know him though. He's a really nice man. He was a pharmacist, and
his son is Travis.
Oh, Fitzwater. Ron Fitzwater.
Yes, Ron Fitzwater is our mayor. Stephanie.
Yeah, I knew there was a T in there for his son. Yes. We met up with his
do you guys live in
son.
Jefferson City, or do you have like a suburb of Jefferson City?
Jefferson City.
Well, no, actually, we are in the unincorporated. So we literally are like 50 to 100 yards away from the incorporated district. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to shoot our guns. But
it's not like it's still Jefferson City, Missouri.
We have a Jefferson City address, but we're lucky because we're just outside in the county, so we can like do fireworks and all kinds of other fun stuff. So
because I know the mayor. I mean, I'm close to Boston, but I don't live in Boston proper. I live outside of Boston in a suburb.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't tell you who my mayor is in my town that I live in. But I can tell you who the mayor of Boston is because,
We're talking about adulting skills, basic adult skills, and whether or not you can actually pull them off as adults. And this is the list that we're going through with my adult family, my brother Justin, my wife Stephanie, and all of the people who are joining us in right now. Number 14 on this list, can you name who your state representative is? Or something equivalent if you don't live in the States. I can name who our current state representative is, our congressman, and I can name our state representative as well. Stephanie, can you name our congressman right now as well as our state representative?
No, I don't think so. I'm drawing a blank here. I'm sure it'll sound familiar to me once you...
Justin, do you know who your congressman is?
I feel like no. Chipper. No.
No? Okay.
I mean, I follow them on Facebook, but I can't remember her name.
So
it's a woman, but I can't remember her name.
Of course, it's Boston. Our congressman is about to be Dr. Bob Onder, but right now it's Blaine Lukemeyer.
Oh, Lukemeyer.
And then our state representative is Rudy Veit.
Oh, okay.
Rudy.
He's up for re-election.
I think this is his last term.
Okay.
Yeah. Number 15, can you book your own doctor's appointments? Me, answer, no, I cannot book my own doctor's appointments.
I do it for you.
Yes, she does. Thank you, Steffi.
And for me, and Hazel.
Steffi handles all of our healthcare stuff.
I'm the medical advocate of the family.
Thank God, because it's a lot of work and she does a great job at it. She keeps the family healthy. And I appreciate that for that, Stephanie.
Yes.
Without her, I wouldn't be able to get that back shot, for my back injury. Stephanie got that all done. The insurance wasn't going to pay for it the first time, so she went to like our local pain doctor, and then he managed to get it approved so I could get my back feeling better, so I can do karate kicks. I feel so much better. And yes, the doctors worked a miracle, but the real miracle is Stephanie. Thank you, Steph.
Thank you. I attribute it to my social work skills. That's one positive thing about social workers is we're all about resources and networking.
Justin, you can't book your own doctor's appointment?
Oh, I do it all the time.
Oh, okay.
We have apps.
Yeah.
I have an app. We have a health med app that I use on my phone, and I go like there it is.
I guess we could. I just do old school calling.
Yeah. This next one,
I
think.
like to call.
Good. I might lose my man card for this next one, although it depends on what you mean by this. Can you check your own tire pressure? I mean, yes, but I don't know what it means.
It's a number. You have to have a specific number. I got the little thing that you get where you put it on and it shoots out a little white meter on the bottom that tells you how much pressure's in it.
Yeah, I can check it, but then when I it's like, what's the right number? And then I look on the tire and it's like, is it this number or that number? Because there's usually two numbers.
It's on the door.
It's on the door? Okay,
yeah.
All right. So it should be at this certain level, right? But then didn't I get any tires?
That's actually, Stephanie, good.
Yeah, see, Stephanie, there she goes.
Really good.
I'm kind of manly in ways, I guess.
Chicks with dicks, man.
Yeah. I used to go to this place called Bell Tire in Michigan, and you could fill up your air for free. And so it would tell you electronically, what number you were at. And so, yeah, inside of the door, it'll remind you. I'm sure you could Google it too and be like, I have this car. What is my tire pressure?
I'm also going to give you some hot, straight facts right now. If you're ever in a rental car and you don't know which side the gas tank is on, look at the gas meter or the little light icon in the dashboard of your car, and there'll be an arrow to show which side the gas is on. It'll tell you like which side to pull up to the pump if you don't know which side the gas meter's on. So look at your little icon in the car. I learned that recently within the past 5 years. I never knew that. I'd get into a strange car and I'm like, what side's the gas tank on? And it's right there on that little icon. It'll put a little arrow that'll say either right or left. It's brilliant.
Yeah, that is really cool.
All right, next item on this list of adult skills that are basics-ish. Can you change a light fixture or a light switch? Light switch? Okay, no. So I have once, I think I had help though, changed like my lights to dimmers from like up and down to dimmers, but probably shouldn't have done that. Like I probably should have. I think it was taking the risk because there's like a third wire or something like that you have to like watch out for in those things, or else you can get electrocuted and die. So no, I can't do that. I don't think maybe I shouldn't do it. Maybe I could if I really set my mind to it. But at the moment, if you ask me to do it, I'd probably say, probably gonna get somebody who knows how to do that.
No.
We're all no's on that one.
No, I can change the light bulb, but nothing else.
Can you name cleaning products you can never mix together, Justin?
Ooh. No, not off the top of my head, but I'm thinking of there's one that you're not supposed to ammonia. There's something that you mix with ammonia that's like super dangerous.
It'll explode. Yeah. Ammonium nitrate. Isn't that like what makes like the fertilizer that it makes people use for like bombs and stuff like that?
Maybe.
Isn't it like it's like when they did the Murray building and the Oklahoma bombing? That was all fertilizer that was like ammonium nitrate. I think so if you mix ammonium with some kind of a nitrate, then you get a bomb. So
maybe it's bleach and ammonia. Maybe it's bleach and ammonia. That's what it makes a bad situation.
Yes.
Putting Mentos in Coca-Cola, doesn't that make it a volcano? I don't know.
Love it.
Hey, good morning. It's the Wake Up America show. We got less than 10 minutes. No bonus baby yet. Oh, very sad.
People just don't like Hazel.
That's okay. Listen, we'll just let Hazel sleep and we won't disturb her. That's okay. But if you want to see the bonus baby, we got to either sell a t-shirt in the next 10 minutes or somebody's just got to go just bite the bullet and donate $30 to the Wake Up America show. Yep. And then you get the bonus baby. Would you like to see baby Hazel? Unlocked. Bonus baby. You got the bonus content unlocked, but if you want the bonus baby, we just got to raise 40 more bucks, and then we'll bring out baby Hazel and give her a little kiss, right? And we're not above selling our baby on the market to the highest bidder. It's cheap.
I was just talking about how you can't put a price on a baby.
Sure,
Look
you
at
can.
me.
It's $100.
I'm so hypocritical.
Yeah, listen, if we don't incentivize the donations and the rants and all that kind of stuff, give them a reason to do it, they're not going to do it. And if we don't ask, you don't get. Just like I was telling you, right? Don't ask, don't get. Next on the Wake Up America show.
Talk about not asking and not getting. That's the next one we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, is that really the next one on the list?
Yeah.
Can you call and negotiate with companies to get discounts or promotional rates? Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Answer, AP. Yes, damn straight I can.
You sure can.
You can, Stephanie. You're good at getting some discounts and things and going after money. There's just certain ways that you are nervous about asking for things.
Yeah, if I think I'm deserving of it, like if I get a coupon in the mail and the person does not grant me that discount for the coupon, you best bet I am in there and fighting. Mm-hmm. Like just the other day at Culver's, we had a coupon and I was like, are you sure you put that coupon in the register? Are you sure? I was very adamant. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Justin, you can go for it.
Oh, yeah. Listen, when I was in New Jersey, remember that time? I got into terrible trouble with credit card debt. Terrible trouble, because I just didn't make any money. It's hard to, it was hard to live there. And, I would call the credit card companies and say, can you cut me a deal? And, and now I can do that easily because my credit score is freaking high. I'm up in the 800s. Like I have an excellent credit score. So yeah, you just call them and say, hey, I want a discount or I want a lower interest rate or whatever. And usually you can do it. And there's even scripts like you can use online. Like if you're nervous about it, you can go look, scripts for credit card discount or whatever. And you find stuff like that.
Wow.
Can you change the different filters throughout your house, Justin?
Yep, sure can.
Yep, so can we.
I mean, we just have one.
Yes. Yep. Next, can you stick to a monthly budget? No.
100%.
No.
You can't?
No.
We try to make budgets.
My finances are always like ups and downs and all kinds. Like I have to spend lots of money on the business one month and the next.
My whole life is run by the app You Need a Budget. And if nobody has
it's called You Need a Budget.
You Need a Budget. It's my favorite app. I'm a wine abber. They call them wine abbers. People
You Need a
really
Budget. Is it free? Is the app free?
No, it's like $70 a year, but worth it. It saved me in the first like 6 months of using it. I probably saved $600 to $1,000 that I was losing. That I didn't know that I was just losing, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm losing money like crazy.
Wow,
game changer, especially as a private business owner. Game changer, game changer.
I'll have to look into that. Can you write a resume and a cover letter? Hell yes, I can write a resume and cover letter that'll have you drop in your pants right away.
Oh goodness, I haven't had to use a resume in several years now. I still have one back from the early 2000s. Mine is probably not very good.
I've been able to write killer resumes since high school. I remember going to a career class where they had like the social lady come in and talk about, on career day, they would say, let's do a mock interview. And I remember I sat down and after it was over, that lady was like, this kid, perfect score. Would hire him right now.
You're so lucky. You don't have interview anxiety.
It was just like,
I start sweating.
What's funny is that she had all these little traps. It wasn't just about my cover letter or resume or stuff like that. Like one thing, she sat down. She's like, would you like a donut? And I was like, oh, no, thanks.
Really?
Yeah. And later that was like one of the traps that she set. Cause like, you're not supposed to accept food or something like that if you sit down for an interview.
What?
Because she's like, pretend that like you're there and you're like, yeah. And you got this all grease all over your hands and stuff like that. And you're like, got donut sauce all over you or whatever, jelly donut.
Donut in a really nice kind of way.
Doesn't matter. You always refuse food or anything like that. And
I could see it.
I always gave people water when they come into interview the job. I'm like, would you like a bottle of water? And they're like, sure. So they could sit there because people get nervous.
If you're in the room, right? If you're in the room, but like and I try and avoid it. I can't help it sometimes. But during the show, I've got to drink something to kind of like stay hydrated. But I mean, a show is not the same thing as like an interview. Drink some water beforehand. Just don't sit there.
Then don't have to pee. Then you're sitting there and have to pee.
Listen, like you gotta listen to the perfect interviewee guy here or not. Take my advice or not.
I could see somebody getting offended if you say no to them offering you food. Culturally, food is it's something that we like to offer to people just out of kindness, and so it's almost like you have to accept in order to like respect that person.
Next on this list is, can you easily navigate being in social situations with family members who fundamentally don't agree with you, like about politics or social issues?
100%.
I'm getting
not an idiot.
Yeah, I'm getting better. I used to have lots of debates and heated discussions, but not so much anymore.
I can live with softly, tenderly held opinions about things because I can always be wrong. So, and I think, I mean, this is what's wrong, I think, in our culture, that people are saying, oh, you don't go home to your father if he votes for Trump. And I'm like, that's stupid. Like, that's
I know
dumb.
So many people that have cut themselves off from loved ones and family members because of Trump.
I was thinking about a friend of yours that did the same thing yesterday. And I was like, oh, that person we know who that was. And I'm like,
who we loved each other. We loved each other.
That's how you know you're in a cult. That's how you know you're in a cult.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's a shame. I mean, it's not like I haven't always been like this. You know what I mean? The only thing that's different is that now I'm supporting Trump. I have the same beliefs that I had before. I mean, if you found those beliefs disgusting before, what is the difference between, I've never been a Democrat and I've always been opposed to Democrat stuff. So, I mean, and I am, but it's hard because my career is inherently political to an extent. So it was hard for me when my college friends and high school friends, some of them found out I was running for office because many of them had no idea what I was up to in DC. But when I ran for office back here in Missouri, a lot of old friends, quote unquote, I guess they weren't really friends after all,
correct,
found out that I was running. They immediately started hating me and, because you're a Republican and all this kind of stuff. And it was it was hurtful at first. But then I was then later I was like, oh, you know what? Fuck them. They were really they weren't my friends anyway. They were just casual acquaintances.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. They were conditional friends.
People do hate to see politics on their timeline. Like my friend from college, she actually said to me, she's like, I follow your husband, even though he has political views that I disagree with. I want to see the baby content. So she values the baby content. So she's like, I'm going to look past the politics and follow him.
She can do that all she
Yes.
likes. Yes. All right. We're getting ready to head into what I would call overtime, but I have to be respectful of my guest, Justin. In terms of your schedule and timing, do you have a hard out at all right at 9?
No, we got 2 more. We got 2 more to go.
I know.
He's excited about
but
it.
we have like a whole other story, because here's what I'm thinking. It just depends on the audience here, because I mean, we've got like 2,000 people watching us live
do?
over on X.
Oh,
right.
My gosh.
We've got about 200 people watching us live on Rumble.
Wow.
And what I'd really like to do is to encourage people, the 2,000 people who are watching us on X, I'd really like to encourage them to join us over on Rumble.
Yeah.
And I actually have a method to do that. Justin, would you give me an extra 15 minutes?
I can do 15 extra.
An extra 15 minutes. Stephanie, can you do an extra 15 minutes?
Yeah, Hazel seems cool with it.
So here's what I'm going to do. You lucky Rumble people, the 200 people joining us live on Rumble this morning, you're going to get so lucky, because here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to turn off the stream to the other social networks, including X, which is 2,000 people. So I'm really going to take a hit over there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're listening to me on X, right, here's what I need you to do. I need you to join us over at rumble.com/AP for Liberty if you would like to see the additional content that's coming in the next 15 minutes. So big sacrifice here, because I'm going to lose thousands of viewers. But if 5, 10, 15, 25, 100 of you decide that you're enjoying the content, you like to hang out with us for another 15 minutes, come join us over here on Rumble. And while you're here, click that follow button and join us regularly on Rumble. This is a great way for me to incentivize people to join us on Rumble, where we're much better able to interact with you, right? So
because nobody really likes to write on Twitter. I don't understand what it is.
They don't have a connection on Twitter. It's nice to have 2,000 people watching me live on Twitter, don't get me wrong,
Right.
or X, but I would really appreciate it if you guys would join us on Rumble, because that's more useful to us.
Yeah.
Helps us in the long term. And Rumble's another free speech platform, and they work together. So here's what I'm going to do. It's 9 a.m. Central Time, which typically we would use to end the show. But for the very first time ever, I am now updating this stream so that anyone who is watching us on any other platform other than Rumble and Locals, which are connected, will no longer be able to see the show. So if you're, one last warning, if you're watching the Wake Up America show live somewhere other than rumble.com/AP for Liberty, then you're going to see just a Rumble stream obscured, and you won't be able to watch and see the rest of the content. We're going to have a lot of fun, so you don't want to miss out. Come join us now, rumble.com/AP for Liberty. That's the number 4. And join us in the live stream and the live chat over there on Rumble. I'm updating the stream now. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you very much for watching us over on X. I'm grateful to have you all over here, but I got to give a little exclusive content to our